So behind me is our altar, and this comes from our scriptures that we are to have a place where we place offerings for God. And so anything that goes up here is an offering for God, and it is also a strong visual component of our worship. And not only is it backdrop for anything that's going on up here, like a baptism or a wedding or a sermon, but it also is important for us because it has function and it is form to our worship. So you'll see we have our offering baskets up here. When we pass them out and receive the gifts and the tithes that people have for God, they come back up here, they go back on the altar, and then we bless them here, and then God receives those. We also have our Bible up here. This is also our ministry of the Word. That is an offering to God. We have our two candles. They symbolize the two aspects and nature of Jesus Christ, the human and the divine, or the divine and the human. There's not actually a set place for them, but that's why we have the two. And then upon occasion, when it's appropriate, we'll bring out and put right next to our altar our paschal candle. We do this during Easter. We do this at other times of the year for sacraments like baptism and Holy Communion. And so you'll see the altar kind of change over the years and the time of the year. Especially what's important to us visually are the paraments, and this is a word that means hangings. And so the paraments change throughout the liturgical year. Right now we're in what's called Kingdom Tide, or ordinary time. We're not actually at a place where we're celebrating Advent or Lent, Christmas or Easter, Pentecost. And so you'll see green, and these have to be changed out by hand. So there's a lot of work in what we call dressing the altar, but it's not a mantle. It's not a place where we're just creating a pretty picture. Instead, everything up here has to have purpose and form. And currently for our worship series, we are using this. This is actually an offering of art. And our kind of altar artist at the time is Karen Rowlingson, and she is combining everything in the text and our theology to create an artwork that in itself is an offering to God and yet instructional and useful for us as Christians. So as we look at this, here she is once more embodied not only the world that is God's, created by God and then given to us as good stewards, but we see the fulfillment of the text that Jesus says, where he is the vine and we are the branches. The entire world, not just Christians around the world, but the entire world will one day live this out. And so we are called to use our gifts and graces to be part of our offerings, and Karen has done that perfectly. Our altar is an incredibly holy place. It is consecrated. Just like in the Old Testament, this is not just a table. It is a very important focal point. It is a functional piece in our worship. And ultimately, we hope that it is a sign and a blessing. So we don't put our beverages on here on Sunday morning, but we do put anything that we want to give to God and to use in mission and ministry. And so we hope that the next time you have the opportunity to look at our altar or any altar, you'll be able to look and see and catch glimpses of not just the enlivenment of the Old Testament, but also the continuance of our desire to serve and give gifts to God.